This tutorial is about rendering with cPouta's GPUs. First, I will show how the setup works once installed, and then I will show how to install it. I need one SSH secure tunnel to my virtual machine. And now I can use my VNC viewer client to see the desktop of my virtual machine. And here I have it. This is my cPouta desktop. I use right mouse click to open a terminal. And I have installed Blender. I will use that for demonstration. And there's one thing to remember. I need to start all my programs with command vgl run. Like that. And this vgl run directs all the graphics to the cPouta GPU. All the rendering is done in cPouta now. And this is really fast, powerful graphics, probably much faster and more powerful that you have on your own desktop. It's a great way to render. That's all there is to it. I just close the window with a disconnect button or just the normal way. And I can leave this tunnel open if I want to take another connection in a while, or if I know I'm not going to use it today, again I will just exit. And that's it. Now I'll show how to install cPouta GPU support. I have launched a fresh Ubuntu image with GPU flavor but without CUDA, and I'll connect to it using PuTTY since I'm on Windows. Hostname is cloud user at the IP address of the virtual machine, and authentication is using the private key file which is on your machine if you've done it right. All is explained in cPouta user manual. Go to frequently asked questions and how do I use cPouta GPU for rendering. For Ubuntu, it's all explained in here. Only need to cut and paste the commands to install everything. So first I just update the package lists. And after that I install X and Windows Manager, OpenBox. OpenBox is a very simple Windows Manager, but it plays well with this setup. And this will take a little while. You could use CUDA image, which has NVIDIA driver already installed, but it's better to install NVIDIA driver from scratch so you know exactly what you are getting, and it's also easy to change the driver later on if you so wish. Since you are installing the driver, you need to install some other files because the driver is going to be compiled, and for the compilation it needs some header files. So I install the header files first. And then download the run file for the drivers. Then I just run this run file, which takes care of the installation. And this is not going to install the 32-bit drivers. If you needed them, you could have installed another set of files, and then you would have been good to go with the 32 bits. But you probably won't need them. Okay, so it's complete, it's all done, and now it needs some configuration. This tells us what is the address of the card, and it's in here. For me, this is exactly what's already put in this next command. For you, it might be something different, and you have to change it in this part. And now we've already done all the driver installation. Now we need a couple of other servers still, virtual GL and TurboVNC servers, which I'm going to do next. And just unpack those both. And now I need to configure the VGL server. Virtual GL is the middleware that takes care of directing all the graphics commands to the cPouta's card. So for configuration, I'll just choose no for all these questions because I will be the only user, so I don't need any user groups or added security. And now I configure and start the VNC server, and I can choose in which sized window I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it in the HD sized window. Invent a clever password with 8 characters or less. Redo it. And answer no to view only password. We want all the privileges. And now we only need to start the X server. You need to press enter twice, and we'll direct display to 0 because the default is 10 for SSH connection. And now we are all done for the setup for the virtual machine. We need a VNC client in order to take a VNC connection to the virtual machine, and a TurboVNC client can be installed from SourceForge page. It would be this version, latest one, and it has all the platforms covered. And for me, for Windows would be this version, but I have it already installed. And in order to take a secure tunnel connection, I need one thing that I forgot to mention. When I started the TurboVNC server, it gave me this information that the TurboVNC started on display Ubuntu GPU 1. Ubuntu GPU is the name I gave to my virtual machine, so that's what it is, and 1 is the display number. It usually starts from the first available address, and now it's 1. So I need this when I take connection, secure connection, and that goes as follows. How to open a secure tunnel between your local PC and your virtual machine is explained on the web page for different platforms. I will show how to do this on Windows using PuTTY's graphical interface. I will use the same profile I used in the beginning of this tutorial. So this has the authentication file address here. Now I will need to add in the tunnel information. Here comes the local port, and I can use any free available port number here. Let's choose 5911. And for the destination, now I need to use this information that TurboVNC is listening to this display and this port. I need to use the full address of the port, which would be 5901. Click Add button, and now this is all set. I should save this session, and now I can use this profile to create the secure tunnel. All I need to do now is to open my TurboVNC viewer, the client that I have installed, and this points at the local port, which would be 5911, but it doesn't have to include those 5 nines. Connect, use the TurboVNC password you have given when installing the system, and here we have the desktop and the terminal. Use the VGL run command. I will use a test program that comes with a virtual GL just to check that the OpenGL works. And it does. Everything is rendered on cPouta's GPU. So the rendering environment is all set up now, and this concludes our tutorial.